Hi guys, Phoenix Spring Tarot here. So in this pick a card reading, we'll be looking at what aspects of your shadow are showing up for you right now for release and healing. So just to say before going into introducing these cards, that if you are in a sensitive disposition right now, if you're in a tender place, please exercise self-care when choosing these pick a cards. These messages that are delivered in this reading are quite direct. So I'm just saying that to warn you, use your discretion, all right? And also to say, remember, these are general readings, so only take the messages that are relevant to your situation. If you're finding that a message or a pile does not resonate with you, that's fine. Don't force it. Choose more. You could select another pile. You could select more than one. Or it could be just that the messages are not right for you at this point in time, which is also okay. Also, as I'm going through the messages as well, it's a collective. There are a number of you at different places and phases in your life. So also use your own divine guidance and apply that to take the messages and the images on the cards beyond what I am saying, to adapt it to your personal circumstance. That's just a final message as well. So we're sort of working together, if you like, to co-creating these messages. Okay, so I've gotten that out of the way. Let's go into the pile selection. So this is pile number 1. Pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4. Take a moment, pause, go with your first instincts. Again, you could select more than one pile, but I'll see you in your pile. Bye for now. All right, so pile number 1. For those of you who chose the companion card, this is your reading. What is your shadow side releasing, or what is it healing right now? So just to say, guys, a gentle reminder that this is a general reading, so not all the messages would resonate. Just take what does, okay? All right. So with this companion card, what I'm getting, pile number 1, is that you guys are the sort who pride yourselves on always being there for someone else, who prides themselves on and who is respected and recognized for always putting others before yourself, always being there to help someone in need, always being there to help someone else. You are the sort of go-to person, whether it's in your group, in your tribe, very thoughtful, very empathic in terms of picking up what other people need, what other people feel. What's coming through, though, this is coming up, though, through your shadow as something that needs to be released or something that needs to heal. And that it's a matter of you put yourself so much into other people's world and you lose yourself so much into what other people need and servicing that need because you're so empathic, so empathetic for others, that you've lost yourself and what you need in the journey and in the process of serving others. So what your shadow is saying is that it's bringing this to your attention, and it's bringing about situations, circumstances to draw your attention to this, for you to heal it. Okay? So what we also have here is hiding your true self. So what your shadow side is saying is that at some point in your life, whether it's the way that you were raised or the way that you were brought up, or whether it was a situation that happened, somehow there is something about you and not really fully showing up as your authentic self, not fully showing up as your whole self. So because there are certain elements of yourself that you want to hide, you have adopted this persona to the outside world of being the helpful person, for being the kind person, of being the person that's always there. This is an identity that you've taken on as a cloak, is what they're saying. This is an identity they're saying that you've taken on as a mask. And it's an identity that makes you feel safe because you are accepted by others, because others view you in this gentle, malevolent, always benevolent, I believe is the word, always being there for others way. You're viewed like that. But it's saying that you matter. You deserve to be shown, you deserve to reveal yourself and be recognized for the fullness and wholeness of who you are. Good side and not so good side. Right? That's what this is saying, particularly with the hiding your true self. There's a side of yourself. Notice this person, like you're only seeing one side of their face, whereas with this person, you're seeing the full side. But you're seeing their full, in fact, with both, you're seeing one side of their face, actually. But at least here, thank you, Spirit Guides, sorry, they've cleared up the message for me. It's as if here you're showing people what you want them to see, and here you're hiding. but these are two sides of the same whole, of the same person. Now, in these cards, Spirit Guides are also drawing my attention to this being yellow and this being red. So it's drawing my attention to your chakra balance. The yellow talks about truth. How are you expressing your truth? Are you expressing your truth when you interact and engage with others? And red is your base chakra. It's your chakra to fill. It's part and parcel of your survival, really. So what your shadow is saying is that somewhere, whether it's from childhood or whether it's adolescence, at some point in your life, you picked up that hiding a part of yourself and people-pleasing would ensure your survival. And it's a trait and it's a habit that you've just kept and you've continued. But what your spirit guides, what your shadow self, is saying is that it's not sustainable. And what it's also saying as well with this forbidden card, what your shadow is going to start doing for you to face, heal, and release the hiding of yourself and people-pleasing, it's that there are certain relationships or certain situations are going to start presenting themselves where this people-pleasing and this hiding yourself is not going to serve you anymore, right? You're going to be forced, your shadow is saying, you're going to be forced to really find your own identity. You're going to be forced to find your voice. It's like some situation, some circumstance, something's going to happen in a relationship, or a relationship is going to come in that's going to force you to find your identity, find your voice, and to see the value in revealing your true self. That's what your shadow is saying. What else do we have here? Further messages. What they're saying is, and of course this is a collective reading, so you guys will be at various stages of this, but what they're saying is that this would be resonating with some of you, and if it doesn't, feel free to choose another pile. But some of you have a fear. You know that you ought to do this and you want to do it. It's a burden not being able to show your full self. I'm feeling and I'm being told the phrase suffering happening in silence, not being able to show your true self, subduing and submerging and suppressing. Suppressing is the word. Suppressing what it is you truly want, truly need, truly desire. It's to the point where for some of you, you don't even know what that is anymore. Okay, that's coming through, and that's why I'm seeing the fog. When we're talking about surrender attachments, spirit guides are drawing me to that fog. So if you did want to go about finding, okay, let me explore my identity, what I want, what makes me happy, I want to explore that now, and you would make the start to do it, but it's as if you can't see what it is. And that not seeing what it is, that makes you happy, what fills your cup up, and that unknown is what makes you guys nervous. So you revert back to, playing yourself small, putting what you want on the back burner and hiding your true self. Because fog turns up a lot. We literally even have a car here called Fogged In. But what this is saying is that you guys are being encouraged by your shadow to make that move. And what their shadow side is advising is that in making the move, try not to attach yourself to the results or to an outcome. Firstly, they're advising you to just play. Just go with the flow, put one step in front of the other. Don't expect to have all the answers right away. Don't expect it in terms of exploring your true self, exploring your identity, feeling comfortable with it. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. It's putting one foot in front of the other. You're being guided here. You wouldn't see the full picture because of this fog, but with this ship, as you begin to make the journey, as you begin to make the movement, it's going to get easier. So there's another message that's coming through, guys. Just one moment. With the full moon in Leo, don't let pride get in the way. I'm looking at the full moon, and a lot of you are viewed as dependable, viewed as a rock. It's talking about the way people currently view you. You guys are afraid of making this journey to find your true self because you feel that you would be letting other people down, or you would be disappointing other people. Or some of you may have tried to show up as your true self, tried to have put up boundaries, but it wasn't quite accepted by other people because other people were not familiar with your boundaries, is what this is saying. But what your shadow is saying is that sense of other people not being familiar with your boundaries, so you back down. What shadow is saying is that underlying all of that, it's re-establishing those boundaries, number one, because that is what got you here in the first place, so it's developing boundaries. But also number two, there is a pride. If you dig below the surface really, really deep, there is a pride at play. There is something that you guys enjoy when it comes to being needed, being wanted, being the go-to person. And it's not wanting to jeopardize that, is what your shadow is saying. So your shadow is saying that also needs to be healed. And it's right under releasing your ex. So when it comes to releasing your ex, this is talking about, for some of you who are farther along, this journey of finding yourself. This is talking about releasing memories of past people, situations, situationships, relationships. You may have the memories of those, but if when you stand up in your identity and your truth, if you are not being accepted, then it's not for you, because they are not seeing you as your full self. For some of you who are just starting and embarking on this journey, it's talking about you would recognize that there are people in your life that you need to release. And these people could be very, very close to you. And I'm just feeling the pain and the talk, and even, dare I say, anxiety of basically your whole community, your social structure, everything. It's almost as if some of you would just be throwing it upside down. I'm even seeing Teresa from the Real Housewives of New Jersey flipping over a table and walking off. That's how it's going to seem to some people when you make these changes, because these people in this relationship with you, they have never heard you say no before, and stick to it. For some of you, I'm being drawn to this card number 29, which is a female. For some of you, in terms of establishing your boundaries and finding your identity, this would be particularly in relation to another female figure. So it could be a boss or someone who exhibits heavy female traits. It could be a family member. It could be, it could actually be, they're telling me it could actually be in your ancestral lineage. It could be that you guys, by finding your true self, finding your identity and finding your personal identity and standing up to people, it could be that in your female line and legacy, in your ancestral line, you're going to be the first people to actually do that. For those of you, as I mentioned, boss, when it comes to with the options here and with the ego, if it is that some of you may want to find another job, or in terms of this, in that in your current role you realize, in terms of finding your true self and your identity, that your current job is not serving you, you're not suited to it, or the people in that role don't recognize you, or you're being overworked and not receiving with the scales here, and being shown not being recognized for your true value. So it could be a manager, it could be a group of people that you're working with who don't see your true value, or who are not treating you the way you ought to be treated, either in your job role, or giving you respect, or giving you recognition and respect for the work that you're putting out. It could be a number of different things here, but what your spirit guides are saying is that you do have options. And for some of you, you may have this niggling feeling of looking for another role, of finding another role, another job role. And what I'm being told is that some of you may not know what this role is just yet, or what this opportunity is, but spirit guides are saying just make the start. Make the start with your CV, make the start with looking at job boards, make the start of reaching out to your network to ask for other roles and opportunities, make the start of asking yourself the question, what is it that would really fill me up that I could do for money? And your spirit guides are saying take that step. Again, with the fog, you may not be able to really see and articulate what it is, but you just need to make that first step and make it in trust. And when it comes to surrender attachment to results, which is what we have here, with this ego floating above, again with the wings here, and we have the wings on this card again, you are being protected, and you're being told to don't bog yourself or narrow or limit yourself to just one perspective. Expand your field of vision, be open, be adaptable, be flexible. Don't discount anything. Again, this is where the message, don't let pride get in the way of you looking for alternative friendship groups, or really exploring what your personal identity is and finding your true self. Don't let preconceived notions of what that ought to look like get in the way of you choosing making a choice or exploring different avenues. With the eagle, what I'm being drawn to is this eagle flying way above the land, but look at the rays of light that are coming through behind the eagle. So it's like the eagle is putting himself in position to explore and expand, and the universe and God is responding because the eagle has put themselves in that position. The universe is responding by shining its light and in the rays showing different avenues and paths that you could go down. And with the eagle, you could switch from that avenue or to this path. Don't limit yourself is another message that's coming through. And then very finally from your shadow is, in terms of making a meal, what I'm being told is some of you, of course, would like to cook or like to eat, but what I'm being told here is be careful of the vibration food that you're consuming and that you're filling yourself up with. I'm being told that some of you may be, and this is a last message here, pile number one, some of you may be using food as a way to suppress that feeling of not being seen, or to suppress that feeling of emptiness or not fulfilling yourself, or to suppress that guilt or anxiety of hiding your true self. Some of you may be using food as a tool, or you may be using food, drink, whatever, use it as it resonates, whether it's maybe done consciously or subconsciously. So what this is saying is just evaluate your eating habits and your diet. You know, just really ensure that you're filling yourself up, going down this path as well, and doing that deep inner work of who am I, how do I want to be treated, what is my job, what is my identity, what do I like and dislike. That work could be, you can't do that work if you are not nourishing your mind, body, soul, and spirit. Okay, so that is where, when it comes to making a meal, that is where this becomes very important. I'm seeing a lot of vegetables, greens, feta, dare I say, and so on here. This becomes really important, and it becomes really key. They're also drawing me to the knife here as well. So this is reminding me, this knife is reminding me of the Ace of Swords. You know, and the Ace of Swords, which talks about making a new start, making a new beginning. So it could be I'm doing this reading. Of course, this is a timeless reading, but I'm doing it with the new moon in Cancer. And Cancer talks about your deep emotional life. Cancer is ruled by the moon, right? So it's talking about your emotions and your emotional energy, your emotional body. So with this, what I'm picking up as well is really ensure that you're eating, and eating in a mindful way to nourish your body, to nourish your soul, and not eating in a way to like binge eat, or eating because you're addicted to food to suppress these emotions that your shadow is bringing up for you. Okay, I think I rambled a bit about that, but I hope it made sense. Are there any further messages? There are no further messages, pile number 1. I don't need to shuffle. I hope you all found this useful. If you did, do let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you could select more than one pile. There are about 4 piles in this reading, so I could very well see you in one of those piles or see you in another reading. Bye for now. All right, so pile number 2. If you selected the mediator card, this reading is into what is being released from your shadow, or what is being revealed by your shadow for healing right now. So I may be shuffling on deck as well. Also, let me just say at the beginning of this reading that if you know that you're feeling a bit tender right now, and if you're in a sensitive place, because these messages are going to be not sugar-coated and they're going to be fired hard and fast, to just exercise some self-care. And it could be that this reading is not really for you at this point in time, and you know what, that's fine. Okay, so let's start. So mediator. So what I'm picking up very strongly with this card, pile number 2, is that you guys either through, I'm picking up work very strongly. So you may have a job or a role where you're a senior manager, or you're a director, a pretty senior person, or you're looked at as being quite senior. And one thing that I'm also picking up for you guys is that a core essence of your identity and who you are is being fair, is being just, is understanding both sides and being able to see both sides, and exercising fairness. And that's why I say that they're drawing me to work, because in a work perspective, that is the identity that you all have, but it's something that's very much your core belief: integrity, fairness by yourself, fairness to others, and being viewed as that as well. Like even operating in the world, you try to be fair and you try to operate from a place of integrity. Pile number 2. However, what is coming through from your shadow, not from your shadow, but I'll come to the shadow in a moment, but what's coming through is that some of you at pile number 2 maybe in situations where this aspect or element of your personality is being questioned. People are questioning your integrity. People are doubting and saying that you have ulterior motives, or you have a hidden agenda, or they may be taking certain things that you say and twisting it to something that you really didn't mean, and it's not recognizable. It's almost like a gaslighting situation that's going on. It could be that you're in that situation at work where someone is trying to undermine you or stab you behind your back, or questioning your integrity and what you're doing, questioning your proficiency in a role. Or it could be a more personal situation where, let's say you are a parent and you may have your other partner that's questioning your motives behind something, or trying to gaslight you to say that you're doing something when you're not, and maybe trying to get other people on side against you. Or it could be that that's happening, or you perceive that to be happening. Another example they're giving me for pile number 2 is almost as if you are the Batman in Gotham City, trying to be fair and representing the people in Gotham, and it's almost as if Gotham, they turn against you and they misinterpret everything that you're doing, right? It's really putting you in a situation right now where you're really put in a position where you're it's quite to the point where for some of you, you're even questioning your own sanity. And I'm seeing that with the Five of Swords. You're questioning your sanity. You're just like, but why is someone doubting me? Why would someone think I have ulterior motives? But I know this person said X, Y, and Z. Why are they telling me that they said A, B, C, and I must be mistaken? I feel like I'm being gaslit right now. I don't know which way is up, which way is down. That's how a lot of you are feeling right now. And I'm particularly seeing that with the Five of Swords. It's as if with the Devil energy that's coming next to the Five of Swords, and this is some powerful energy, is either someone with the marionette strings that trying to control, manipulate, and gaslight you, or this could be how other people are viewing you. So you're coming in with integrity, you're coming in with the best intentions, you're coming in trying to be fair, but they're viewing you as being controlling. If some of you have teenagers, it could be the general teenager thing, but that's only for a small group of you. Now, your shadow is saying that the reason why this is happening is shadow wants to point out to you that there is, in terms of this forgetting yourself card, which reduces to an 8, which is life, and 8 is all about life lessons. What this is saying is that remember that you are bigger than your role, and you're bigger than the identity that society has given to you. What your shadow is saying, and let me listen to this really carefully, is that they want, all of this has come about because you are being prompted and guided to explore or expand beyond the role of mediator, beyond the role of the person who is fair and has integrity and wants to listen to both sides and help others. There is more to you than that. And yes, you want to give to society and want to give to the collective by being fair and balanced if you're raising your children, because children keep on coming through. You want to ensure that they're global citizens and they're growing up with the right values and all of that, because that's to your core pile number 2 is the way you guys are. But I'm seeing with this vast vista, I'm seeing particularly someone stepping out of their box. And as they come out of the box, this mediator box of mediating the situations around them, as they step out of that box and they breathe in that wide, expansive air, they notice that there is more to their life and there's more to them than mediating other people through their BS, basically. And there's more to the world than being there of service to others to sort out other people's mess also. Sometimes with this stepping out of the box and expanding your horizons, there is not going to be any harm to leaving people to sort their own stuff out. There's no harm to that. But I'll come to that message a bit later on. Let me stick with and finish the thought that they've given me here. In terms of expanding your horizons with the Two of Wands, so some of you, pile number 2. Oh my God, Two of Wands, pile number 2. Anyway, some of you may have been wanting for a while to, you may have instinctively or deep down have that pull or have that urge to move on to something else, to spread your wings, to fly away, to look for another job role, to do something different, to just, you know, shake things up from the status quo or the routine that you're in. Some of you may have been either wanting to explore the world, explore different cultures. You may have wanted to go traveling, pick up a new hobby. But with this 2, pile number 2, it's as if you've thought of it, you've daydreamed about it, but notice that she's clinging on to, this is transitioning from one phase to the next, and instead of fully transitioning over, it's as if she's staying just on the, what do you call it, the threshold. She's just on the threshold of moving into that expansion, and she's daydreaming into it. She hasn't fully moved over yet. And for some of you, pile number 2, you've thought about it, you've thought about spreading your wings, you've thought about expanding, but there is something with the Devil energy that's keeping you put. There is something that's preventing you from expanding. There is something, it's as if there is someone, either in your energy or in your vicinity, someone or a group of people that want to keep you stuck in that mediator role, right? In that role where, I'm being told the phrase draining life force, but take it as you will. But there's some life force that's being drained from you right now, whether that's purposely done or whether you just feel that with the situation you feel drained. Okay? But in terms of that dream that you guys have had, what your shadow is saying is to have faith in it, to have faith in that dream. They want you to surrender what is, you know, because they're saying that instead of, if somebody is doubting you or doubting your integrity, trying to undermine you, trying to gaslight you, and you feel that pressure to fight against it, to defend yourself, to defend your honor, Is it really worth defending? What? Because in defending, spirit guides are telling me, in defending and with the devil, what they're saying is that with defending, it's giving you more anxiety. It's giving you more headache. It's pulling you deeper and deeper and deeper into the situation that you don't want to be pulled into. So it's pulling you deeper and deeper into the box. And also, as you get pulled in deeper and deeper, it's taking you farther and farther away from your dreams. So what your shadow is trying to prompt you to do through this situation is they're saying, what if instead of fighting, you just decided, I'm not changing this situation. Notice how she's just surrendered it. I'm just going to let this go. Wherever the chips fall, the chips fall. And what also came through for you guys, pile number 2, is this 9 of Cups. Now notice it's the surrender. The theme is surrender. Notice the body language of both these women here on the cards. One is leaping for joy and just surrendering to what it is they want, surrendering to their dreams, as you can see by the cups here. Their heart chakra, their solar plexus chakra is just lit, it's on fire. They're leaving what they know with this chest, leaving their security, and they're just jumping into the unknown. This person has the courage to follow their dreams. But in order to be free to do that, it takes a surrender. It's understanding that you can't change everything. You can't change everyone. Your legacy has to speak for something. So if you know that you have a particular legacy of integrity, of being fair, of being helpful, of just trying to help everyone, and if someone wants to view you as something else, as having an ulterior motive, as having a hidden agenda, as having a shadow side, let them have it. Because what is coming through is that you're just going to be pulling yourself more and more and more into this situation. What your shadow side is advising is that you have to start putting yourself first. And what the shadow side is saying, that there is something of a self-respect that needs to start being explored here and servicing yourself. Putting yourself first. Also what's come through is like a past life situation. What I'm being drawn to is that you guys have been through this before. This is very familiar to you, where people have doubted your integrity or have tried to gaslight you. For some of you, only some, there's an energy vampire-esque or narcissism in the mix here that you guys are being caught up in. But it's a situation that you guys have been in before. It's very familiar. It's very intoxicating to be needed. But what your shadow is saying, and some of you are at various stages of this journey, but oh my goodness, look at this, release control. I didn't even see that there. You have surrendered to what is and releasing control. And notice we have the devil here as well. So that need to prove yourself, to fight your corner, you know, to right wrongs. Just release control of it. To be the mediator, to be fair, to be balanced, to be helping other people, or to be viewed as this leader, this manager of integrity, of proficiency and everything else. Let it go. Release that. Release that. And in releasing that control, we see someone on a ship just beginning to make a journey. The cape is on, they're beginning to make that journey. Shadow is saying you are currently caught in the threshold of making that move and transition. What Shadow is saying is that you are going to start making that move and transition. We also have here with endings are inevitable. There is something of a moving on here that's coming through quite strongly. Moving on from this, or at least, again, it's the daydreaming of moving on. It's the daydream. Because we have the dreams here as well. It's the dreams of moving on. And again, here, it's the dreaming. Whereas you sit on the threshold, it's making the plans as well, planning and really figuring out and vision boarding and so on what it is, how you all want to move on is going to be also very important as well. Because it's finding, you've forgotten yourself and it's reconnecting with yourselves, pile number 2. And very lastly, the last message that I'm getting for you in terms of your dreams needing a practical plan. Again, this is something that I got in this 2 of Wands. It's really sitting down and planning things out. Not just daydreaming. What did they say about dreams? A dreams without a plan is just dreams. It's not actual. It's something about that saying. But you need to ground these daydreams into something actionable and tangible, with milestones and dates and deliverables. Okay, pile number 2, that is all I have for you. I don't have anything else. I hope these messages resonated with you. Check pile number 1, because there are a few messages that are quite similar but different to this as well. or you could check whatever other pile you guys want to. But whatever it is, again, I hope this resonated. Leave a comment down below if it did. See you guys in other piles. Bye for now. All right, so pile number 3, for those of you who selected this card, Visionary, this is your reading as to what your shadow side is releasing and healing right now. And we'll also channel additional messages from your shadow as well, if any additional messages should come through. And if we require further messages above what we have, I'll also be shuffling on camera. Okay. So, what I'm picking up for you guys, pile number 3, is that so this is what my spirit guides have shown me, or they've told me. They've sort of shown me and told me that they've shown me the world, and they said that within the human collective consciousness, there are certain people that have been placed in certain strategic locations. It's almost as if they're giving me like one person, they're showing me like one light per how many hundreds of people. So it's people being strategically located. And what they're saying is that these people have a visionary consciousness. It's like when it's time for these people to be switched on, it's these people are meant to expand their consciousness to affect those people around them, and then in turn elevate all our conscious awareness. And it's really interesting because they're showing me that with the advent of technology and YouTube and the way we communicate, that in terms of you guys being pile number 3, being that visionary, this is enhanced even more. So what they're even giving me in my mind's eye, they're giving me that in whatever your passion is, you guys are the equivalent, for instance, of a Steve Jobs or an Elon Musk, or they're giving it to me on that level. You know, there's an actual skill, a gift that you guys have and you guys are meant to share. What I'm being told is that some of you guys don't recognize this at all. You don't recognize the power of the gift that you guys have. The reason for that is, for a lot of you, it's either that you had people around you, or growing up you had family, friends, co-workers, take it as it resonates, who didn't actually see the value and didn't see your potential. And because they don't recognize the value and the potential that for some of you, they don't recognize the value and the potential, so you never had that opportunity or that sounding board to develop it. And for others, they did, and they did see the potential, but they've tried to subdue it because they're threatened by it. Like they're threatened by your inner light, they're threatened by your potential. It makes them feel insecure. But the problem is that, guys, that you don't see this potential within yourselves. That's the problem. So because you don't see it within yourselves, but you know it's there, but because other people don't recognize it, or other people put you down for it, or make you feel bad, or they don't understand it, you in turn have externalized this potential from you, which is right here. So you yourself have externalized it from you, and you've sort of compromised it or also tried to play it down. But this is of no fault of your own. It's simply because you've never had anyone, you haven't had your soul tribe around you. And to sort of help you realize, no, your idea is worth something. Or you haven't had enough reinforcement from people around you to say, no, we see you, we value you, we love you enough that even if we don't get what it is that you have, we know that it's something special. Even if we don't understand it, we want to help build that up in you. Like a lot of you have missed that. So what it means is that you guys either shortchange yourself, or you've turned your back on this special ability that you have to pick up something else that's more status quo. So you've sort of rejected and shut down yourself, so to speak. So with this bride in a cage, and it's interesting here because what's come through for you guys, I'm seeing like 2 people wearing white. There is an innocence, and there's even this woman wearing white on the card that you selected as well. What this is saying to me is that there's an innocence and there's a purity with you guys as well, pile number 3, in terms of how you guys trust a lot of people. You all, because of this special gift and skill, star seeds, thank you. You guys are a lot of you guys in this pile are star seeds like workers ratios, in that you've come down to just be of service to the collective. And a lot of people who've lived lives on previous planets and have come down as star seeds, you guys have a purity of, and one way you can identify a star seed is that you guys have a purity of spirit. When it comes to judgment or being jealous or anything of that of other people, that doesn't really immediately rise to the surface with you guys. There's a purity with this group, which I'm seeing with the white. What I'm also saying is that even though some of you aren't fully or haven't fully encompassed and embraced your vision right now, you all still shine in whatever it is you do. And that brings me to the bride in a cage. Because what your shadow is saying is that some of you have either turned your back on this vision, gift, or skill and adopted something else, or you haven't given this vision, gift, or skill that you have its full attention. So what we see is someone halfway in their potential. So we see someone who is a bride and who's a lovely, beautiful, look at this lovely, beautiful dress, but it's missing something. So if you notice, it's just seeing a skeleton. There's no meat on the bones. There's no face. So when you see a bride is meant to be a fantastic sight. Everyone wants to see the bride at a wedding. Everyone wants to see what the bride is wearing, the bride's hair, etc., etc. But for you guys, and when you see the bride as well, it's almost as if, yeah, the bride is the main focal point of a wedding, of a ceremony. And for you guys, it's as if the universe has been waiting for you to launch this gift. We're waiting on the bride. We're waiting on the bride. But it's like the bride isn't fully there. The bride is caged in. What shadow is saying as well with the skeleton is be careful, guys. The collective consciousness of our collective consciousness is rising, and you guys are being called on to participate. And if you don't participate and use your gifts, your vision, your abilities the way they ought to be used, this is saying that it's almost as if there is a decay that's going to happen within your soul. There's a decay, there's a breakdown. There would be regret is going to start etching in and destroying your soul of not living up to your true potential. So sorry guys, they're just showing me the vision in my mind's eye, and I'm just tapping into the vision that they've shown me. So apologies if that was a bit long-winded. You guys know that you have this. You're being called on by your shadow to surrender denial. You know, accept that people and the situations around you is the way they are. Accept that people are going to be difficult and no one is going to really understand or get your true potential. But it's developing that ability, that self-confidence, that self-trust, that self-belief. Even if you have it the size of a mustard seed, as Oprah would say, water that seed. If you're doubting yourself, or if you've doubted you've ever had any ability or skill, or if you think a dream is too big or an idea is just too out there and crazy, it's not. You know, for some random reason, they're showing me Kanye trying to make leather jeans and leather trousers work, and showing me Kanye saying that at one point, soon later down the line, we'll all be speaking in emojis. And Kanye wanted to break into fashion, and people in the black community were laughing at him, saying, "Yeah, right, you're never going to do it." And what they're channeling me is that gave Kanye a few years, and a lot of things that people laughed at him and said that he couldn't achieve, he did achieve. Like, I don't know. It's as if that message someone needed, viewing this reading, needed to hear. And they're telling me that someone needed to hear that message because in whatever situation that person has around them, there are people who really don't understand the vision and make fun of that person's vision, skills, ability at every opportunity they get. And for that person who is viewing this, it's really soul destroying for them. There's a lot of pain that's coming up for me, and I can feel it as I'm saying that. So that was a particular message, and I hope, even though it was for a particular person viewing this pile, I hope it resonates overall. You're being asked here in that case before I go on, what your shadow is also saying, and what it's releasing for healing as well, is a particular codependency, basically. So what this is saying is that you guys have, when you don't trust your own innate natural gifts and ability, because everyone around you is saying either it doesn't exist or it's silly and so on, you give up your own inner power. You give up your self-trust and you become dependent on the words of someone else, on the validation that other people give you. And what your shadow is saying is that that is coming up for healing right now, healing that codependency. Whether it's light work healing, whether it's with a therapist, or whether it's you just taking action on your dream. Whether it's you taking action to release the negativity of other people. I notice we have Scorpio energy. Some of you guys Scorpio talks about transformation also. Mind you, here we have the Three of Swords. They're drawing my attention to the Three of Swords as well. There is someone here, and notice with this sword, there's the top of a rose, the most valuable aspect of a rose, you could say, that has the scent, that has the beauty. Notice the three cutting that most valuable, beautiful part that has been singled out. This is the equivalent of you guys, whatever you guys have of value that makes you guys valuable, that thing, that ability, whatever it is, it's separate from you. And it's separate from you, and others are just cutting it down. So there's a lot of insecurity because you haven't been recognized for the abilities that you guys have. There's a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of anguish, there's a lot of insecurity. And your shadow is saying that it's time to release and heal this now. That's what you guys are in the process of going through. So if you're in the process of going through that, how do we surrender? How do we heal that? Is going to be the question. What they're saying is to really understand and know that in terms of healing, you guys have a healing window, is what I'm being told. And the healing window is now. So this has come through, show the world the real you. So you're being advised by your shadow that one way to heal this is stepping into your authenticity, because this is full moon in Aquarius. Aquarius always walk to the beat of their own drum. Aquariuses don't mind being on their own. They don't mind being solo creatures. Right, here we have surrender to rest and sleep. We're going to circle back to this card, but when I'm seeing the word rest here, I'm almost seeing like when you're resting, it's like you're having time on your own, you're having separation. You know, I'm just seeing that there's a separation or there's a moving on. As I'm seeing with this navigating the stars. Notice this, even though I think this is meant to be a shepherd, but I'm just watching this person have this rucksack on their back and it's like, and this walking stick. And it's as if there's a long winding pathway ahead of them. And it's at the dead of night and all they have is their instinct. It's that bliss. And notice the blue in the sky resembles the blue in this ball here. That is all they have to guide them. It's fulfilling their purpose, fulfilling their dream, their skill, their ability, fulfilling it. That is going to be your guiding star. That is what you have to trust. That would be your healing process out of this codependency and selling yourself short. That is how you heal it. Also surrender, giving away the denial. Like if you're thinking, well, this person's my mother, well, this person's my best friend, this person's my teacher. I'm sure they mean best. I'm sure they have good intentions. I'm sure this, I'm sure that. Stop denying. Stop making excuses. Take the blindfold off. See the situation for what it actually is. And it's interesting, this person here, in terms of surrender denial, is wearing a blindfold. And if you look very carefully on this card, this person has their eyes closed. All right? What else do we have? What I'm also being told with the Strength card and the Queen of Pentacles is that at this time with the Strength is really nurturing. This foxes in this deck represent wisdom, in the Little Prince representing wisdom. This is your inner self, your inner potential. It's nurturing that. It's nurturing your goals, nurturing your dreams. And notice this Queen of Pentacles, again, looking down and nurturing. You guys are really being, as I said before, you all have a window of opportunity right now. If you are viewing this reading, notice the Pentacle looking very similar to this potential. You all are being drawn to really make that first step. Put together an action plan to really bring that potential, that idea, that ability into reality. You're prompted to do that now, to really nurture it, develop it. I'm being told that give it attention. For some of you, if you're familiar with inner child work as well, it's also working on your inner child. That's a separate message for someone. If that person's already doing inner child work, that's a separate message for you. Now we have support. Your life purpose fully supports you. And by life purpose, this is what you guys are being called on to do. Once you start giving it your full attention and it begins to gain momentum, what this is saying is that you would be able, and this and the Queen of Pentacles, you guys would be able to make a living or be sustained off of this, is what I'm being told, I'm being directed to here. I'm also being told oracle cards here, so some of you could actually be light workers. Again, this is bringing me back to star seeds, or you have the psychic abilities, the gift of sight, the gift of vision, because we have visionary card here. But it doesn't just mean like you need to be a tarot oracle card reader. But it's what this is saying more to the point. I mean, you could be, but also another point that this is raising is tuning into your guides and tuning into yourselves when you are unsure, in order to discern the answers and to discern the guidance for your next step. But very much it could also be that with a lot of you, because we have a crystal ball here and the way this woman is tying her head, you know, it could be that some of you are also tarot readers, or you're interested in doing tarot or oracle reading work. So let this be your encouragement or enhancement for you, that there's a key role that you need to play in servicing and the elevation of the collective. Next we have soulmate, and we have, in fact, before going on to soulmate, sorry, next we have the chariot. What I'm looking with the chariot is, notice that the chariot is flying across Egypt. It's flying across pyramids. It's almost like you guys out of the situation that you're in, I guess, and again, this is movement. And as we see the movement here with someone traveling and making a journey, you guys are making a journey also, is what I'm seeing here with the chariot. Chariot talks about making a move. It talks about going. We have this person in motion as well, moving. So if you haven't done so already, you're really heavily being prompted by your shadow to just make a start, any start. Just put one foot in front of the other. Don't prejudge it. It doesn't need to be fancy. But do it with the full moon in Aquarius. Do it in your authenticity. Very lastly, when you do make the start, it's this soulmate card coming up. This is just further confirmation that yes, this is what you're meant to be doing. This is you being in your authenticity. This is your true soul. This is your calling. This is written in the Akashic records of your soul as what it is that you are meant to do. Whatever comes to mind for you right now, pile number 3, it is what you guys are being called to do. And we have 3 of Cups here. You guys are heavily with this 3 of Cups. There, as you make a start with this, there are your soul tribe you would meet along the way who would be supportive of you in this. But not only that, you also have people in spirit that are supporting you, that are cheering you on, that want to see you win. And talking about people on the other side, or people in the spirit world, whether it's your spirit guides, your spirit guide team that want to see you win, with surrender to rest and sleep. I'm being told some of you may be light sleepers and not heavy sleepers, or you wake up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, or you may be restless sleepers. Your shadow is saying this is something that you need to look into, because some of you are running on empty. But more to the point, it's also that in your astral space and in your dream state as well, there are lots of downloads that you all are receiving. So if you have gotten the oracle cards, and if you are very psychic, very intuitive, and very empathic as well, some of you may have this skill already where you do a lot of work in your astral space, or you're being advised that your astral space and through your dreams is where your spirit guide team would be giving you a lot of downloads of wisdom, downloads of ways you could really action this project and ability forward. Through your dreams as well, they would also be giving you, I'm being told, downloads of ability enhancements also. So you're being asked to co-create with your spirit guides. So reach out to them, ask them what it is that you want, what it is that you require, what it is that you need, just before you go to bed. Let that be in your last thoughts. Let that, and as you transition into your dream state and into the astral plane, you'll be transitioning with, you're informing your spirit guides on the other side when you meet them of what the objective is that you'd like to do there. Any further messages? No. Okay. Pile number 3, that is it from me. I hope these messages resonated with you. You can view more than one pile in this reading, and I'll probably see you in that other pile. Bye for now. All right, last but not least, pile number 4. So in this reading, guys, you all would have selected the monk and the nun. Pile number 4, and we'll be looking at what is your shadow releasing and healing at this point in time. And we will also channel any additional messages that your shadow has for you. Okay, so what I'm looking at, pile number 4, and what I'm picking up firstly is this card, Addicted, 1111. Well, not 1111, sorry, 11, which runs to 2, Addicted. So notice this person has literally a chain around their neck, and something is pushed through from their front to their back. So something has managed to get their hooks into them. And it's like they have no life of their own. They have no free will. They're just a slave to something or someone else. And it's interesting they've drawn me to this card before moving into this monk and this nun. And again, similar to the Addicted card, there's a lot of darkness, black, that these people are wearing, as if in mourning for something. Similar here, wearing dark colors, wearing all black. So monks and nuns talk about giving up, or not giving up, but surrendering. Well, no, giving up, yeah. Devoting, that's the word. It's about devoting your life to God, to spirit. It's the dedication to God, to spirit, praying to God and to spirit. Devoting your life, right? Same thing when you're addicted in a way. You're devoting your life to whatever it is that you, whatever person, place, thing, situation that you're addicted to, that you become a slave to. However, what I'm picking up here, pile number 4, is that I'm picking up a lot of, they're telling me work, a lot of spiritual work, mental work. It's as if from whatever you guys were addicted to, it's like there's been a lot of healing that's been going on with that. And you all have really relied heavily on your spiritual practice or the spiritual aspects of you to do this healing work. However, what your shadow is saying is that you guys have done so much spiritual work and have gone down that path to the point where you all have sort of isolated yourselves with spiritual work. It consumes your life, spiritual work. Whereas, and I want to preface this reading by saying, whatever spiritual religious path that you go down, I'm not saying in this reading that you should turn your back on it. That is not what your shadow is saying at all. Instead, what your shadow is saying is that you guys have got to receive the Passion card twice, which is crazy. This hasn't happened. These are different decks. This hasn't happened in any other pile, to receive the same phrasing twice. So what your shadow is saying is that it is possible as part of the healing process to go down a spiritual religious route and devote yourself to that life. But what your shadow is saying is that it has come at a cost of other things that really fill your... It's come at a cost of other things from which you derive your life force energy. It's come at a cost of other things that really fires your soul. And you're not meant to live a life devoid of these things. So that is one message for some of you, pile number 4. Another message for some of you regarding this Passion card is with the focus on people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. I'm seeing that in terms of your experiences, you guys would be given an opportunity to talk about the experiences, that these addicted experiences that you guys have been through. Or it could be addicted experiences, it could be whatever experience that compromised you for a period of time, so it doesn't necessarily have to be an addiction. Let's expand the scope beyond that, is what I'm being told. It could be a situation in which your free will was compromised for a period of time. You guys, and you all have recovered from it. You all are, shadow is saying that part of that healing process is going to be talking about it. Talking about your experience, talking about how you overcame it, talking about how you healed it. And what shadow is saying here is that you guys have that natural innate orator skills to be able to do that. And shadow is saying that you guys being able to talk about your experience is what is going to heal this addicted energy. There is something about coming through an addicted experience, but it's also, hang on, let me make sure I get this message. It's also talking to me about being addicted to, you guys have gone the other end of the scale where you're addicted to preventing the experience from coming back. I'm just showing a pendulum swing. It's as if they're showing me you guys have going from one extreme to the next, one extreme to the next, being compromised and being a slave to the experience, completely to the other side where you isolate yourself and you cut off any temptations or anything that can lead you down that path again. It's like a huge pendulum swing. And in doing that pendulum swing to the side of the monk and the nun, you guys have done a few things. Number one, you've cut out things in your life that are really your life force, that fire your passion, that make life worth living. And also number two, what they're saying is for some of you, pile number 4, part of your core, part of your healing is going to be talking about this experience. So it's either talking about it one-on-one with a therapist or a coach or someone like that, or number two, it's talking about it on a wider scale. So talking about it through, let's say, being a speaker here, so doing it through motivational talks for people. You know, turning up to places, and as I said, I'm not really sure what motivational talks look like, or having a group of people, or having a networking group, or starting a group yourself. But it's sharing, the whole point is that you're sharing your experience with others. And in terms of that sharing your experience with others, it enables other people, with the butterfly in all these hands, it enables other people to heal as well. Other people could, with the butterfly, transform or transition their own experiences in which they've been compromised. They're able to transform and transition as well, just from hearing your perspective and how you came out of it. So no one is saying here that you can't devote yourself to either religious practice or spiritual practice, whatever practice it is. You can, but it's still a matter of not excluding yourself from the physical world, but sharing that experience with the rest of the world as well, so that other people could learn or get some insight from your example. And the reason why I say all of that as well is because we have the Ace of Swords and we have an Eight of Pentacles. So Eight of Pentacles talks about being very skilled at something that you do. And as you can see with this guy here, he has this, what is that, a chisel? Whatever that is, he's hard at work, doing a lot of variations and creating a lot of things. And with an Ace of Swords, we have someone here writing, planning, researching, putting something together, holding with that hand on the globe. You know, the intention here with the hand on the globe is to communicate their message far and wide, because Swords always talks about thoughts, your voice, communicating ideas. That is the Ace of Swords. So for some of you guys, you're being guided to, or you're being given the opportunity, I should say, to share your message, to share your story with other people. And you guys are going to be very good at it, because with the High Priestess, there is wisdom that you guys have gained from this experience. Notice how dark this card is, and notice we have the dark pillar and we have a white pillar here, and in fact they're drawing me to this angel card here as well. There is something, and angel of course talks about light, and I'm going to come to you guys on your spirit guides in a moment. But what is this angel, part of what this angel represents as well is enlightenment. And notice the lightness of this card compared to the darkness of this one. But notice as well, and this is you guys, you're holding the dark, you're holding the light in balance. So you know when I was talking about that pendulum swing earlier, it's not pendulum swinging from one extreme to the next, but holding both in balance. That is where the wisdom is. It's finding that point of neutrality so you could coexist in both worlds. And from that space, with the High Priestess, it's sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge with other people, with the collective. Now coming back to now what I want to say before coming on to your spirit guides is with the Sun and the Three of Swords. Again, with the Three of Swords, there is something that you guys have been through which hurt you deeply. It appears to be a betrayal by someone, or someone turned their back on you, as you can see with someone walking off in the distance. And it's something that you guys didn't expect, you didn't see coming. It humbled you, it brought you to your knees. Notice the head looking down, and again, notice with this addicted card, it's the head looking down as well. Also notice the synchronicity here of like the swords coming through your back, something hooking on you. And notice here the swords plunging in your back. So this was a deep betrayal that you guys didn't see coming. And what I'm picking up is that it's a struggle. You guys were struggling, pile number 4, to cope with the aftermaths of this, with the healing of this as well. But pile number 4, what I'm picking up is that you guys have managed to come through the other side. You guys have managed to heal. In fact, you guys have healed more than you think you have. There is no need to be in this isolation anymore. There's no need to adopt this monk or nun state where you've cut yourself off. There is so much from your experience that you guys could share. I'm just seeing someone with open arms and just sharing with other people. Now, very lastly, let's come to your angel card, this card, Angel. You all have a very, very, very powerful spirit guide with you. And some of you may know that. Some of you may already know that. What this angel guide is telling me is that you guys have been closely protected, guided. And they're saying to me that you guys know and you guys are aware that you've been very closely guided and protected. You can feel it. So much so that you've devoted your life to it. Now, this is another separate message as well for some of you pile number 4s. Some of you could be channelers, literally like channelers of an ascended master or something along those lines. Take it as it resonates. Like Bashir, I don't know if some of you guys know of Bashir or those sort of people, but they come to mind. Like, you guys can literally be channelers. Because the presence, that spiritual presence around you in your aura and in your space is so strong. But your spirit or your religious practice and discipline has been what has enabled you guys to gain that wisdom, to gain that perspective and wisdom that has helped you out of this situation. Notice that on top of this head, the head is bowed, but notice the light that is on top of the crown chakra of this head. Notice it's the light that's coming from this angel. It's the same frequency of light, I should say. So in your darkest hour, your darkest moment, it's like turning within yourself in order to find that light, in order to find the wisdom, in order to find the reason for going through this heavy experience. But with emotions running high, supermoon, this was a devastating experience, because these supermoons could be quite, these supermoons don't play. They talk about very powerful transitions and transformations. It's breaking things down to build back up again, these supermoons. So with emotions running high, I wouldn't doubt that this was quite a powerful experience that you guys had to go through. But you're being called by your shadow that the healing of this is not complete yet. You need to share this wisdom now. You need to help not you need to, of course everyone has free choice, but it's finding some way of getting the message out, of inspiring other people, helping other people, whether it's a lot of people, whether it may be just one person. But you all were not meant, from what I'm seeing here, to be a complete recluse. You're not meant to be a recluse. Not at all. It's like you have something to say. Your voice could be very impactful. I'm just hearing you have something to say. There is power in terms of what you have to say. With speaker here, there is power within it. And for some of you who may be a bit introverted and you're thinking, speaking isn't my thing, there's so many different ways to communicate. As we're seeing with this Ace of Swords here, it could be writing, it could be painting, whatever it is, really use that intuition of yours to expand on this message, to find a way for it to resonate with you. So it doesn't just have to be speaking voice. But mind you, I did pick up a message that some of you may be channelers as well and are trying to not understand it or are doubting it, but some of you are. Okay, I don't have any further messages, pile number 4. So I am going to leave it there. I hope this reading resonated with you. If it did, let me know in the comments down below. Mind you, you could choose more than one pile for this reading as well. So I may see you in that pile. Bye for now.